Part 9. Great Voyage, Invincibility begins from the word spirit fruit. Author, Drunk in March at West Lake. Chapter 81. Let Lucifer escape. It's hard to explain to Marshall of the Warring States period. This time it will affect your career. Ching Pheasant scratched his head and said depressedly. There is no way, just the two of us can't keep Lucifer. Kizaru covered his chest with one hand and wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth with the other hand. Endless fear appeared in the depths of his pupils. He could clearly feel that after a while, Lucifer's strength had improved. If this continues, the next time they meet, he may die at the hands of Lucifer. At this moment, Kizaru made up his mind that he would never take on Lucifer-related tasks again. Even if he was suspended and his salary was deducted, he would never be with Lucifer. There is contact. Although the Admiral's treatment is good, his life is still at stake. Moreover, it's not that we can't explain to Marshall Warring States now, it's that Warring States can't explain to Wulaoxing. Kizaru looked at the ruins around him. He could tell how heavy the loss of the Holy Land was this time, and he could also imagine how angry the 5 old stars would be. Sengoku, as a naval marshal, was not in a good position to protect him, so he would definitely be used by the 5 old stars to vent their anger. A punching bag. Just thinking about it makes Kizaru feel his scalp numb. That night, the Holy Land of Marijoya was invaded. 80% of Marijoya was razed to the ground, and naval soldiers, CP agents, and slaves suffered heavy casualties. The most important thing is that the Tianlong people also suffered casualties, and the number was quite large. Because of this incident, Lucifer was put on the must-kill list by the world's political authorities. The 5 old stars issued the highest killing order, asking the Navy headquarters to eradicate Lucifer, the evil element, at all costs. Of course, these are all things for later. At this time, Lucifer grabbed the seriously injured Jack and flew down to the Red Earth continent. According to the guidance of the life card, Lucifer quickly found the location of the netherworld. Call. A strong wind blew by, and Lucifer appeared on the bow of the netherworld. Captain, you're back. Seeing Lucifer's safe return, Anilu, Cavendish, and Baby 5 were all overjoyed. Invading the Holy Land Marijoa alone sounded very passionate, but the dangers involved can be imagined. They were waiting below the Red Earth continent. You can hear explosions and shouts of death coming from far away, tens of thousands of meters away, which shows the fierceness of the battle. Let's go, get out of here first, the Navy's pursuers will be here soon. Lucifer said as he threw Jack onto the deck. Good. Cavendish quickly went to the helm and sailed away from here. As for Enel, he stared at Jack, who was vomiting blood. Who is this guy? I didn't recognize him either, I only knew him as Jack. Seeing that he was quite capable and courageous, I brought him back. Lucifer's ship is still short of people. When he sees someone with strength and qualifications, he naturally can't let it go. Jack has good physical skills, is proficient in 2-color domineering, and dares to take action against the Navy Admiral, which is very suitable for Lucifer's recruitment conditions. Baby 5, give him some treatment and don't let him die. Okay, Captain Lucifer. Baby 5 felt the happiness of being needed. At this moment, Jack, who was clutching his chest, suddenly knelt at Lucifer's feet. Thank you very much. Although I don't know who you are, I will keep your life-saving grace in my heart. If possible, please let me join you, I am willing to entrust my life to you. Okay, let's go down for treatment first. If you want to work for me, you have to be alive. Lucifer looked at the seriously injured Jack and shook his head slightly. As a slave, this guy was tortured all over by the Tianlong people. Later, his lower abdomen was pierced by Kizaru's laser, and several ribs were kicked and broken. At this moment, he was already dying. If not treated in time, he will definitely die. Afterwards, Baby 5 took Jack for treatment, and Lucifer returned to his cabin to rest. Cavendish took the helm and went to sea, while Enel flew to the mast to monitor the vigil. Soon, the netherworld disappeared into the darkness of the night. In the cabin, Lucifer opened the System Properties panel. Attribute panel. Host, Lucifer. Age, 23. Devil fruit, word spirit fruit. Physique, hell demon. Armed color Haki, peak. Wisdom color Haki, advanced. Overlord color Haki, peak. Killing point, 385,000. After a night of killing, Lucifer's killing point has been reached 385,000. Before the invasion of Marijoya, Lucifer only had 80,000 kill points, but this time it more than quadrupled, with a total gain of over 300,000. This is Lucifer's biggest gain since going to sea. Marijoa was indeed one of the top hunting grounds in Lucifer's mind, and the harvest did not disappoint him. When it comes to hunting grounds, apart from Marijoa, it has to be the home base of the New World Yonko pirates. There are so many strong men in the Yonko pirates' lair, and if you kill just one of them, you can get a huge amount of killing points. And above all these is the deep-sea prison Impel Down City. There are countless pirate prisoners imprisoned in the city. The last floor is full of pirates with a bounty of over 100 million, including many legendary pirates. As long as the Impel City can be destroyed, Lucifer will be able to obtain a huge amount of killing points, and the value may exceed his imagination. Whether it is the home base of the Yonko pirates or Impel Down City, they are the hunting grounds chosen by Lucifer early on. In the future, Lucifer will venture into these places. In addition to these gains during this invasion of Marijoa, Lucifer also had additional gains. With a wave of his hand, 5 devil fruits appeared on the table. Naval support arrived so quickly that Lucifer only had time to raid a Draco palace. But the harvest was pretty good. I got 5 devil fruits. Lucifer has never seen the devil fruit illustrated book, so naturally he doesn't know what these fruits are. Can the system identify these devil fruits? If he has powerful abilities, Lucifer doesn't want them to be recycled by the system. He wants to keep them for himself. Ding, it takes 3,000 kill points to identify a devil fruit. Do you want to identify it? More money for appraisal? Lucifer hesitated. 1 is 3,000 kill points, 5 is 15,000 kill points. This is already worth a good devil fruit. Forget it, just recycle it. If you want better capabilities in the future, just buy it. Lucifer made up his mind. System, recover 5 devil fruits. Ding, 5 devil fruits were recovered successfully and 65,000 killing points were obtained. 5 fruits cost 65,000, which is equivalent to an average of 13,000 per fruit. It's so. Looking at this harvest, you know that these 5 fruits are just ordinary fruits, and there is no top ability in them. Otherwise, there will be more killing points. Fortunately, there was no appraisal, otherwise it would have been a loss. Lucifer called up the system store. He now has a total of 450,000 killing points, which has reached a record high. He can make another wave of consumption. System, by the pinnacle of knowledge and domineering. Lucifer gave instructions in his heart. Ding, the pinnacle knowledge color domineering purchase was successful, 200,000 killing points were deducted, and the remaining killing points were 250,000. A force surged into Lucifer's body and merged with him. Lucifer activated his knowledge, and instantly enveloped a radius of 10,000 meters. However, this was far from reaching the limit. Lucifer's knowledge was still expanding. 10,000 meters, 20,000 meters, 30,000 meters, until 50,000 meters, Lucifer felt a little intense consumption. However, as long as Lucifer is willing, his knowledge and color domineering can continue to spread. The peak level of knowledge and color Haki, the ability far exceeds the advanced level. The range of haki that can be seen and heard is very large, and it can sense attacks, predict the opponent's next moves, perceive the strength of living things, perceive the emotions and thinking of living creatures, and sense the location and number of objects outside the field of vision. Functions have been significantly improved. There must be very few people who can cultivate the domineering power of seeing and hearing to the peak level. There are even fewer people who can surpass me. On the sea, strong men will specialize in cultivating the haki they are good at. Armed haki is the first choice. Although the haki of seeing and hearing can sense the enemy's breath and predict the enemy first, it is different from the haki of the armed who can both attack and defend and restrain natural abilities. In comparison, it is naturally weaker. Therefore, 90% of the strong men in the sea like to practice armed color haki. There are still many people who can cultivate the armed color haki to the peak, but there are people who can cultivate the knowledge color haki to the peak. There are only a few. Ding, it is detected that the host consumption kill point has exceeded 1 million, the system store is updated, update completed. Suddenly, an electronic sound sounded in Lucifer's mind. System store update. Hearing the system prompt, Lucifer quickly turned his attention to the system store. After the update, there were many more items in the system store. For example, 3-color domineering, above the peak realm, a new realm appeared. Great Voyage, Invincibility begins from the word spirit fruit. Author, drunk in March at West Lake. Chapter 82. The 3-color domineering spirit has reached a new level above its peak state. Knowledge haki. Awakening, 1000 killing points, beginner, 5000 killing points, intermediate, 10,000 killing points, advanced, 50,000 killing points, peak, 200,000 killing points, knowledge haki domain, 800,000 killings, point. Armed color haki. Awakening, 1000 killing points, beginner, 5000 killing points, intermediate, 10,000 killing points, advanced, 50,000 killing points, peak, 200,000 killing points, armed color haki field, 800,000 killings point. Overlord color domineering. Awakening, 1000 killing points, elementary, 5000 killing points, intermediate, 10,000 killing points, advanced, 50,000 killing points, peak, 200,000 killing points, overlord color domineering field, 1 million kills point. The 3-color domineering spirit has an additional realm, created by the author, please don't comment if you don't like it. Among them, the knowledge color field and the armed color field cost 800,000 kill points respectively, and the most expensive overlord color field costs 1 million kill points, which is simply a sky-high price. The system also has relevant introductions to the field of 3-color domineering. When a person's domineering reaches the limit, he can open up the domineering field. When turned on, the field of knowledge and color can block the enemy's perception of the power of knowledge and color, and automatically awaken the ability to predict the future. In the field, he can be called omniscient and omniscient. All the enemy's attacks will be seen by you in advance, but the enemy's power of knowledge will be blocked by you, making it impossible to predict your attacks. One can imagine the difference between this increase and one decrease. After opening the armed color haki field, the field will be completely filled with your armed color haki. People with natural abilities cannot be elementalized in the field and will be attacked at all times. With a thought, the armed domineering energy condenses into substance, and attacks are everywhere. The overlord color domineering field, when activated, can forcefully attack the enemy's mind and weaken the enemy's strength. In the overlord color haki field, the enemy's strength will be greatly reduced, and just like the armed color haki field, the enemy will also be attacked at all times in the field. This is too outrageous. Lucifer can be sure that no one in the sea has reached the realm of realm. Not even the 4 emperors. Of course, no one knows whether I'm, the king of the dragons who has lived for 800 years, has reached this realm. Come to think of it, with his 800 years of cultivation, he should have already entered the domain realm. In addition to the three-color domineering domain realm, there are many more powerful abilities and products in the system store. For example, the ability to predict the future with the domineering power of seeing and hearing color, 200,000 killing points. Seeing and hearing color domineering ability to listen to the voices of all things, 200,000 kill points. Animal type cat fruit phantom beast species golden sword lion form, 200,000 kill points. Animal type human fruit phantom beast species fallen angel form, 300,000 killing point. Natural mercury fruit, 200,000 killing points. In addition to these powerful devil fruits, there are also many special fruits, such as the physical strength fruit, which is worth 100,000 killing points. After eating, it can instantly restore all physical strength and reach the peak state. Healing fruit, worth 200,000 killing points. As long as you don't die, all injuries can be cured instantly after eating it. Secret injuries caused over the years are invalid. There is also the life fruit, also worth 200,000 killing points. After eating, it can add 1 year lifespan, and also has the effect of treating dark wounds. The system store was so dazzling that Lucifer was almost dazzled by the many powerful abilities and items. There are many items that Lucifer covets as well. But it's a pity that he doesn't have enough killing points now. Close the system store and open the properties panel. Lucifer gave the order in his heart. Attribute panel. Host, Lucifer. Age, 23. Devil fruit, word spirit fruit. Physique, hell demon. Armed color haki, peak. Wisdom color haki, peak. Overlord color haki, peak. Killing points, 250,000. Lucifer now there are still 250,000 killing points, but those powerful abilities are far behind. Devil fruits and auxiliary fruits are affordable, but they are of no use to him. He has a demonic constitution, immortality, and is almost unkillable. It seems that we need to earn more kill points. Lucifer looked at the overlord colored domineering field worth 1 million, and set a small goal for himself. I don't want much, so I'll make him 1 million first. The night is over and the day is dawning, and time has come to the next day. The rescue work of Marijoya is not over yet, but the news of the invasion of the Holy Land has spread around the world, and the world has been shaken. The person who caused this situation to happen was naturally Morgans. As the president of the World Economic News Agency and one of the kings of the underground world, Morgans did not care at all about the consequences of spreading this news, and he was not worried about it. Suffering revenge from the world government. Morgans is a very professional man who values news more than his own life. After his newsbird sent the photos back to news agency headquarters last night, Morgans immediately wrote the story and printed the paper overnight. At dawn the next day, countless newsbirds flew around the world with newspapers. There is no charge for this batch of newspapers, and Morgans distributes them all for free. The Holy Land of Marijoya was invaded, and the intruder was Admiral Akainu. Admiral Akainu invades the Holy Land, and the Navy headquarters and the world's government part ways. For those who challenge the majesty of God, the wave of a new era is about to hit. The devil Lucifer invades the Holy Land of Marijoya, and the world's government is disgraced. The man who challenges the majesty of God, the devil Lucifer. For such big news, one headline or one newspaper issue is obviously not enough. Last night, Morgans was full of thoughts and inspiration. He wrote 5 reports at once, using 5 sensational headlines, and arranged it made 5 front-page headlines and published them all at once. Moreover, there were contradictions and disputes between several headlines. Morgans clearly knew that the intruder was Lucifer, and he also named the intruder on another page of the newspaper. It's Lucifer, but he just wanted to include Admiral Akainu in it. Just because Lucifer used Admiral Akinu's special skill. Of course it is impossible for the Admiral to invade the Holy Land. But those who saw this title, you will naturally be attracted and then read the newspaper. This is the so-called clickbait. As the president of the World Economic News Agency, Morgans is well aware of the huge power of clickbait. And the result is just as he expected. As the newspaper spreads, the news of the invasion of Holy Land Marijoa spread across the world as quickly as possible. Everyone who read the newspaper was shocked and felt that the sky was about to fall. Such a sensational thing broke the routine of countless people's cognition. The majesty of the world's government has been severely damaged and its face has been completely lost. The majesty of the Navy headquarters has also been severely damaged. Especially the news that the intruder is suspected to be Admiral Akinu has left countless low-level civilians dumbfounded. Of course the big shots know this. It's impossible, but the common people at the bottom don't know. They only know that the Navy is an organization established by the world's government, and the Admiral is the highest combat power of the world's government. Now the Admiral has invaded Marijoa. It means that the Navy headquarters is betraying the world's government. If it is true, the world's pattern will undergo drastic changes. Countless low-level civilians are in panic all day long, feeling that the world will be destroyed because of this. Marijoa, Pangu City Palace. Boom. A gold tea table was smashed to pieces by the curly-haired 5 old stars. This bastard Morgans actually dared to report such news. Did he want to die? This time the Holy Land invaded the world government and the Navy headquarters were disgraced. They originally wanted to cover up the news. But by the time they acted, it was already too late. Morgans's newspaper had already spread all over the world. Send CP to deal with it. Morgans has been too presumptuous recently. Let him know what he can and cannot do. The blonde 5 old star said lightly. Yes, it is related to the majesty of the world government and must not be taken lightly. However, the current top priority is to solve the culprit of this incident, Lucifer. This damn bastard must be completely eliminated at all costs. The 5 old stars looked at Lucifer's bounty order, with endless killing intent in their eyes. Warring states, I leave this matter to you. We don't care what method you use, and we don't care what means you use. We only want one result: Lucifer must die. Wulaoxing looked at Marshal Warring States standing in front of him at the same time. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Great Voyage, Invincibility begins from the word spirit fruit. Author, Drunk in March at Westlake. Chapter 83. I know, I will do it as soon as possible. Of course Warring States knows that it is very difficult to completely eliminate Lucifer, and the possibility is slim. But now he can only accept this task. Looking at the furious 5 old stars, Warring States is afraid that if he says anything difficult, these 5 bastard old men will go crazy. They teamed up to beat him up. He was also afraid that he would not be able to suppress his anger and beat up the 5 old men in front of him. After the incident last night, Wulaoxing vented all his anger on him, making him a human being inside and outside the Warring States period now. Sengoku's anger has risen to his throat and will burst out at any time. Sengoku, MMP, who did I provoke whom? New World, Navy G1 branch. Boom. A ball of magma exploded inside the building, completely destroying the entire room. When the surrounding Navy soldiers saw where the room was, no one dared to step forward to check the situation because it was Admiral Akinu's office. Everyone knows that Admiral Akinu is currently in a state of rage. If you touch him at this time, you will probably be burned to ashes. Damn Lucifer, how dare he do such a thing, I can't spare him. Akinu's expression was twisted, and he was extremely angry. Lava erupted all over his body, and the newspaper in his hand was burned to ashes. In the flames, The title of the newspaper could be vaguely seen: the Holy Land Marijoya was invaded, and the intruder turned out to be the Navy. General Akainu. When people sit at home, the blame comes from the sky. Akainu has been sitting in the New World during this period and has never returned to the Navy headquarters, let alone the Holy Land. But for this invasion, the blame suddenly hit him on the head. When Akainu saw today's newspaper, his head almost exploded. I invaded the Holy Land Marijoya? Why didn't I know? What? You said the whole world knew about it, but I was the last one to know. Contact me later at the Navy headquarters. Akainu learned the cause and effect of the incident. And this time, it was the devil Lucifer who made him take the blame. Ever since his beloved General Doberman was killed by Lucifer, Akainu has been eyeing Lucifer, and he has extreme hatred in his heart. Lucifer. And this incident completely ignited Akainu's anger. Although he was not responsible for this incident, the big shots in the world also knew that the intruder was not him. But because of this report, his reputation it will still be damaged. This is very disadvantageous for Akainu, who wants to be a naval marshal. If he is not careful, his career may be affected, and the throne of the Navy Marshal will be ruined. Lucifer of MMP, you have done a good job, let me take the blame. Damn you brat, I will definitely burn you to ashes. Akainu's whole body erupted with lava, and his roar silenced the entire G1 branch Navy. New World, Moby Dick. Dad, something big has happened. Marco fell from the sky and delivered 2 newspapers to Whitebeard. The title of the first newspaper was very scary: Admiral Akainu invaded the Holy Land, the Navy headquarters and the world government parted ways. Blah blah blah, the Navy headquarters is going to break with the world government. What a joke. Of course Whitebeard would not believe such news, so he opened the second newspaper. Sure enough, the title had changed. The devil Lucifer invades the Holy Land of Marijoya, and the world's government is disgraced. Well, that makes sense, that kid is pretty capable. Even if he is Whitebeard, he has to admire Lucifer's courage. I heard that the entire Marijoya has been bulldozed by Lucifer, and a battle last night lasted until early this morning. The 2 admirals Aokiji and Kizaru failed to save Lucifer, but were injured by him instead. Marco is also very well informed. In addition to the information in newspapers, there are also some gossips. If this is the case, then this kid's strength is really extraordinary. Whitebeard looked at the newspaper in his hand and sighed. The word admiral itself represents strength. The fact that the 2 generals were defeated after joining forces proved that Lucifer's strength was extremely terrifying and he could keep pace with the 4 emperors. The surrounding people, the members of the Whitebeard pirates, looked at the newspaper and were all dumbfounded. Facing Lucifer, they could no longer maintain their superiority. All their pride came from Whitebeard, and Lucifer himself could be compared with Whitebeard. Although he is a newcomer, his strength and status are far above them. The New World, the country of Wano. The sky above Ghost Island was covered with dark clouds, lightning, and thunder. In a Nagashima palace, Kaido sat on the ground, drinking crazily with a wine gourd. Call. After drinking the wine in the gourd in one breath, Kaido looked at the newspaper in his hand. The devil Lucifer bulldozed the Holy Land Marijoya, what an arrogant brat he is. Ha 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 ha. Kaido laughed loudly, obviously in a good mood. According to the news from Morgans, Aokiji and Kizaru were no match for Lucifer when they joined forces, and instead were injured by him. In the end, even the 5 old stars came forward to force Lucifer back. Beside Kaido, Yan Banjin said in a low voice. The 5 old stars and generals, are just a bunch of trash. Being beaten like this by a kid proves that they are nothing more than that. But this kid is pretty good and has the value of cooperation. If he is interested, he can join forces with me to destroy this world. What Kaido wants most is to launch a war that affects the whole world, and then completely destroy this boring world. Lucifer's strength and his crazy actions make Kaido very interested, thinking that Lucifer is the same as him, humanoid. Just then, Drought Jack spoke. Lord Kaido, Doflamingo contacted us some time ago and wants to establish a cooperative relationship with the Beast Pirates. His request is to ask us to help him eradicate Lucifer. Doflamingo is one of the underground kings with a wide network of connections. He can't deal with Lucifer himself, so he can only find helpers. The Beast Pirates are one of the helpers he seeks. Doflamingo? That flamingo? When Doflamingo was mentioned, Kaido looked disdainful. The so-called title of King Shichibukai was worthless in his eyes. There are many people who want to cooperate with me. Who is he? He dares to make demands. Ignore him, I have no time to get involved in personal grudges with him. Yes, Lord Kaido. Jack respectfully accepted the order. Kaido only looked like a reckless man on the surface, but he still had basic understanding. Lucifer was able to bulldoze Marijoa alone and injure 2 Navy admirals, Aokiji Kizaru, which has proven that his strength is comparable to that of the 4 emperors. Now Kaido just wants to win over Lucifer. How can he become enemies with Lucifer because of Doflamingo? New World, Sea of All Nations, Cake Island. Well, this Lucifer is really capable. The 4th Emperor's aunt was sitting on the sofa, reading the newspaper and drooling wildly. The desire in her eyes became even higher. She originally took a fancy to Lucifer's strength and his suspected status as a rare race, and wanted to recruit Lucifer to marry her daughter. Now the stronger Lucifer is, the more she wants. According to Lucifer's sailing route, he should have entered the New World by now, right? Snag is ready. Let him go to sea immediately to find Lucifer and bring him back to Cake Island. Mom, judging from Lucifer's current record, Snag is no match for Lucifer. Snag would be in danger if Lucifer refused to join us. Katakuri said in a low voice. Reject? Does she dare to refuse me? Auntie's eyes immediately widened, and she burst into reality. Her expression was very ferocious and terrifying. She never considered the possibility of Lucifer's rejection, she just wanted it. Compared to the muscular Kaido, the Yonko auntie's brain is actually bigger, even worse. Although she is very old, her mentality is still like a child, very simple. She wants something she likes, regardless of whether others want it or not. If others refuse, she will lose her temper and then destroy it. If you don't get it, destroy it. This is also one of the characteristics of children. That's right, Mom, according to my judgment, Lucifer will definitely refuse, he is not inferior to others. Great Voyage, Invincibility begins from the word spirit fruit. Author, Drunk in March at West Lake. Chapter 84. Lucifer is not someone who is inferior to others and will not agree to our solicitation. We made a mistake in judgment before. Lucifer is very strong and Snag is no match for him. Actually, Katakuri wants to say that he is not Lucifer's opponent. In the entire Big Mom, only the Yonko ant can fight against Lucifer. If you want to recruit Lucifer, the ant must take action personally. But Katakuri cannot agree with these words. Maybe if you tell me, it won't make sense to reason with the 4th Emperor's ant. Unfortunately, Mom, we can't recruit Lucifer. Katakuri sighed and said. Unable to recruit? That's not necessarily true. Well. Send an invitation to the tea party to that kid and invite him to Cake Island. A dangerous light flashed in Auntie's eyes. Obviously, Katakuri's words did not make Auntie give up her idea. Auntie's obsession is very deep. As long as she wants something, she must do whatever it takes to get it. Pass the word, Katakuri, prepare for this year's tea party. Well. Auntie's laughter echoed in the palace, extremely harsh. Yes, Mom. Katakuri's expression remained unchanged, and he respectfully exited the palace after accepting the order. The New World is a small island covered in ice and snow. In the mountain cave, the red-haired pirates are having a bonfire party here. This Lucifer is so awesome. He really stole the show this time. He even stole our limelight. That's right, he dared to invade Marijoya single-handedly. I haven't seen such a brave newcomer in many years. After this incident, the amount of his reward will definitely skyrocket, right? It's definitely more than 1 billion, maybe more than 2 billion. By that time, only the captain and the deputy captain of our pirate group had higher bounties than him. A group of pirates laughed and talked about Lucifer. Next to him, red-haired Shanks stared at the newspaper in his hand with a serious expression. What's wrong? Aren't you very optimistic about this newcomer? The expression is very scary. Beckman put a glass of wine next to the red-haired man and blew out a smoke ring. The red-haired man shook his head. I am very optimistic about his strength, and his qualifications are one of a kind, but he is too dangerous, and he has done something bad for me. Premonition. The red-haired man was really very optimistic about Lucifer at first, because he was a rare newbie pirate. He was qualified, powerful, very young, and very similar to him. But Lucifer's behavior was too crazy, and the red-haired man also felt a little shocked. Single-handedly bulldozing the holy land of Marijoya sounded powerful, and it was even more powerful when done. But it was too crazy, and it was not something a normal person would do at all. Lucifer's behavior reminded him of a person. That person. The legendary forbidden pirate Rox. If Lucifer is really the same kind of person as Rox, then not only the Navy and pirates will be threatened, but the whole world. Combined with Lucifer's previous actions, plus this incident happened. At this moment, Shanks was very sure that Lucifer was not the successor of Roger's Wool, he was more like the successor of Rox. Lucifer's madness would threaten the entire world sooner or later. Okay, don't worry about this. We haven't finished our own work yet? Beckman said while blowing out smoke rings. Huh? What else do we have to do with ourselves? The red-haired man looked confused. Hey, you don't think it's over after defeating those competitors, do you? What about the territory? Where is our territory? Compared with Whitebeard and the other three, our territory is far from enough. Beckman shook his head, with a look of helplessness on his face. When you encounter such a funny captain, he, the deputy captain, has to worry about everything. It's simply too tiring. Ha 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 ha, territory is not important. As a pirate, the most important thing is freedom? The redhead laughed. So what if the territory is small? Our red-haired pirates are already the 4 emperors, no one can deny this. It doesn't matter if you have less land, as long as you can sail freely on the sea. We don't need territory to prove our strength. That's right, what the captain said makes sense. Brothers, there's a party. The atmosphere in the mountain caves is very lively. There is heavy snow outside and the extreme cold cannot affect the enthusiasm of these pirates at all. New World, Dressrosa. Doflamingo was holding the latest newspaper, his hands were shaking a little, and there were a few drops of cold sweat on his forehead. Damn this guy, even the world's government can't do anything about him. Looking at the shocking things Lucifer had done, even Doflamingo couldn't help but feel helpless. He invaded the Holy Land Marijoa alone, the blue pheasant and the yellow ape teamed up but were injured, and even the 5 old stars were helpless. Like this, the strength is much stronger than him. The gap in strength between the two sides is too great, and there is no possibility for the Don Quixote family to win. Joker, what to do now? Lucifer the bastard has entered a new world. Torrible asked with a runny nose. After knowing Lucifer's terrifying strength, officials such as Torrible and Pika have given up the idea of revenge against Lucifer. Now they have to pray that Lucifer will not come. Their trouble. Don't panic, it's not time to despair yet. Doflamingo growled. What about Kaido? Have you heard anything yet? If he can get Kaido's help, Doflamingo will have the confidence to deal with Lucifer. No, I haven't been able to contact you. Torbil shook his head. Also, all the pirates we contacted before have given up cooperating with us. In order to seek revenge on Lucifer, Doflamingo contacted many pirates in the New World during this period. They were all very skilled and powerful. But after this incident spread, these pirates all gave up and Doflamingo's cooperation. Even if Doflamingo increased the reward several times, they did not agree. Damn, what a bunch of bastards who act according to the circumstances. Doflamingo's face turned pale. Continue to contact Kaido. As long as you can cooperate with Kaido, it doesn't matter if there is no one else. Yes, young master. Doflamingo still has the last glimmer of hope, and Kaido is his last life-saving straw. But what he doesn't know is that Kaido doesn't take him to heart at all. Now Doflamingo, although he has great power, wide connections, and business all over the world, but he still lacks the qualifications to cooperate with Kaido. In the original work, Doflamingo is able to cooperate with Kaido because he can produce artificial devil fruits. But now, Doflamingo does not have this bargaining chip. The only thing Kaido can value is artificial devil fruit. Kaido does not value other resources that Doflamingo has. In the original work, this is also proven by the fact that Doflamingo will be killed by Kaido once he loses his artificial devil fruit. In a sea area of the New World, the sun is shining brightly, the breeze is blowing, and the netherworld is sailing slowly on the sea. Captain, the latest bounty order is out, and your bounty is terrifyingly high. Enelu turned into a bolt of thunder and fell from the mast and came to Lucifer. Lucifer, who was lying on the beach chair, opened his eyes and took the bounty order handed over by Enelu. Devil Lucifer, bounty 2548 million Baileys, a heinous crime, no matter life or death. With a one-time increase of more than 2 billion, it seems that the Navy headquarters and the world government have really gone crazy this time. Lucifer smiled faintly. Such an amount is also top-notch in the New World. Only the Yonko pirates are taller than Lucifer. Next to him, Enel, Cavendish and Baby 5 all rolled their eyes. Listen to this. Yes, can anyone tell me? You have bulldozed Marijoa, can the world government and the Navy headquarters not go crazy? In the 800 years since the establishment of the world government, you are the only one who dares to do such a thing. Right? And with the spread of the bounty order, some pirates in the New World have already regarded Lucifer as the Five Emperors. The Five Emperors demon Lucifer is a great pirate who can be on par with Whitebeard, Kaido, Big Mom and Red Hair. Just now entering the New World, he ascended the throne of the Emperor. Lucifer was the first person since the Great Pirate Era began. What about you? Didn't your bounty go up? Lucifer looked at Enel and the other three. Although Lucifer was the only one who invaded Marijoa this time, the Enel and three others would also be affected as his crew. Great Voyage, Invincibility begins from the word spirit fruit. Author, Drunk in March at West Lake. Chapter 85. Ours has gone up too. The three men of Enelu took out the reward order. The god of thunder, Enelu, has a bounty of 220 million belly. The crime is so heinous that no matter life or death. The weasel Cavendish has a bounty of 185 million belly. The crime is extremely heinous. No matter life or death. Battle Maid Baby 5 has a bounty of 166 million Baileys. The crime is so heinous that no matter life or death. The bounties for the three people have been symbolically increased by 100 million, which is considered an additional bounty brought by the Netherworld pirates. In addition, there is also the slave Jack who was taken away by Lucifer. The Navy also issued a reward for him. Jack the Ripper has a reward of 296 million Baileys. He has committed a heinous crime, and no matter whether he lives or lives. Jack the Ripper? Your name is quite bluffing. Anilu took Jack's reward order and smiled playfully. That's all in the past, so don't mention it. Jack, who was sitting in the corner, looked at the reward notice and shook his head slightly, with a trace of bitterness on his lips. After a few days of getting along, Lucifer and the others already knew Jack's origins. He was originally a Navy, and he was a Rear Admiral. Not only in this way, because of his repeated military exploits and sufficient strength, the Navy headquarters has decided to grant him the rank of Lieutenant General. However, during a mission, Jack accidentally offended the Tianlong people. Not only was his promotion cancelled, but he was given a lot of. The biggest crime was to massacre all the residents of a small town. Therefore, he was nicknamed the Ripper. Jack was framed and unable to return to the Navy headquarters. Instead, he became a criminal and was wanted by the Navy headquarters. Jack escaped for more than a year, and was finally captured by General Kizaru. After being captured, Jack was not imprisoned in Impel Down City, but was sent to Mary Joa to become a Draco slave and was tortured for several years. Until a few days ago, Lucifer made a big fuss in the Holy Land, Mary Joa, and Jack took the opportunity to escape from trouble. The Navy is really dark inside. Can this be considered a justice organization? Cavendish sneered disdainfully. It should be said that it is not the Navy that is dark, but the celestial dragons. As long as it's about the Dracos, Lucifer doesn't think it's surprising that Jack ended up like this. Even if everyone in the Navy knows that Jack was wronged, it's useless. No one can withstand the frivolous words of the Dracos. Words. Compared with the Tianlong people, what is a mere Rear Admiral? I think there are some people in the Navy who have fought for Jack, but the result will be known by looking at Jack's fate. The orders of the Tianlong people are absolute, even if it's the Navy headquarters, we can't disobey it. Jack the Ripper, you are quite capable. You said you were willing to work for me, right? Lucifer looked at Jack. Yes, you saved my life. From today on, my life belongs to you. Jack knelt down at Lucifer's feet and said respectfully. Well, from today on, you are a member of the Netherworld Pirates. The Netherworld Pirates are in short supply. Jack is very powerful, comparable to the Vice Admiral of the Navy headquarters. He is worthy of being included. Yes, thanks Captain Lucifer. Looking at Jack kneeling on the ground, Lucifer hooked his finger, and a devil fruit appeared out of thin air. You probably aren't an Esper yet, so I'll give you this devil fruit. Its abilities fit your nickname perfectly. Jack took the devil fruit, a little excited, but also a little confused. Captain, this fruit is. The superhuman ability to cut fruits is considered to be the top ability among superhumans. If used well, it can greatly improve your combat power. Yes, thanks Captain Lucifer. Jack didn't hesitate, opened his mouth and ate the devil fruit directly. This was a devil fruit recovered by Lucifer with the power of word spirit. Lucifer didn't know how it tasted. But looking at Jack's twisted expression, Lucifer already knew the answer. Superman. Type cutting fruit. The ability user can create vacuum slashes at will, and it is very powerful. Theoretically, when the cutting fruit is developed to a certain extent, it can cut through anything, even space. In the identification of the system, this fruit is worth 80,000 killing points. The person with the ability to cut the fruit who died in Lucifer's hands did not exert the true power of this fruit at all. Because of this, Lucifer has never recovered it, just wanting to use it come to train cutters. Jack has good strength and qualifications, and cutting fruits is very suitable for him. I think it won't be long before he can adapt to the power of cutting fruits. By then, his strength can be improved a lot. Of course, Lucifer is not afraid that Jack will betray him. He can give the fruit, and of course he can kill him to take back the fruit. Well, it's time to set sail again. Lucifer stood up and gave the order. Captain, where should we go next? Asked Cavendish at the helm. Go to Dressrosa and solve a problem. I think Doflamingo is also impatient, so let's go give him a ride. Lucifer has not forgotten that he and Doflamingo have already formed a deep hatred. Now that they have become enemies, it is natural to eradicate the roots. Otherwise, if Doflamingo is left, who knows what little tricks he will do behind the scenes. Mention too much flamenco, Baby Five's face is very complicated. After all, she was originally Doflamingo's subordinate. Hey, Baby Five, you won't be reluctant to part with it, right? Cavendish looked at Baby Five, showing a hint of indifference. If you dare to tip off, I won't spare you. Now, Cavendish has completely regarded himself as a member of the Netherworld Pirates. He will not show mercy to traitors. Don't worry, Baby Five won't do that. Right? Baby Five. Lucifer looked at Baby Five and smiled faintly. Just don't underestimate me, Cavendish. Baby Five cursed. I am now a member of the Netherworld Pirates, and I know my position. That's good. In this way, the Netherworld speeded up and set sail, following the road signs to Dressrosa. Soon, the Netherworld disappeared on the sea level. Admiralty Headquarters, Marineford, Marshal's Office. Warring States is on the phone with Woolaoxing. I have sent people to track down Lucifer's whereabouts. He will be found soon. Lucifer is very powerful, I need to make a careful plan before I act. I'm already seizing the time. Okay, that's it? Jonguo hung up the phone and sighed deeply. Is it the 5 old stars again? Next to him, Lieutenant General He, the chief staff officer, put his chin on his hands and asked calmly. Yes, they are urging us to send troops to eliminate Lucifer quickly. Warring States squeezed his eyebrows, feeling a little tired. Not only physically tired, but also mentally tired. Since the Holy Land Marijoya was bulldozed, Warring States had hardly rested. The Holy Land kept exerting pressure, and the urging calls came one after another. It never stopped. In fact, Lucifer killed too many Dracos this time, and some Draco families were almost wiped out. The remaining Dracos were extremely angry, and naturally wanted revenge. However, Lucifer was too powerful. How can it be so simple to catch him or even eliminate him? To confront Lucifer without any preparation is to let the Navy soldiers die in vain. Warring States would not do that, so he used the drag tactic. The future is long, and their navy has been. He is preparing to eliminate Lucifer, but how long this preparation will last is beyond his control. Just let them go in a hurry. The celestial dragons are just a bunch of garbage. The world would be cleaner if they died. Next to him, Garp, who was sitting on the sofa, laughed. While laughing, he stuffed donuts one by one into his mouth, eating them with gusto. Hearing the news that the Tianlong people suffered heavy casualties, Garp was in a good mood and had a big appetite. Open. Not only do I have to eat 100 more bowls of food every day, but I also broke my donut eating record several times. Shut up, Cap, stop talking nonsense. Although he is also very dissatisfied with the Tianlong people, Sengoku will not speak out like Garp. You must know that even slandering the Tianlong people and insulting them behind their backs is an unforgivable death penalty. Even a vice admiral cannot escape sanctions. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Great Voyage, Invincibility begins from the word spirit fruit. Author, drunk in March at West Lake. Chapter 86. That is to say, Garp has too much prestige as a naval hero, and he has a good friend like Senguo who keeps wiping his butt, so he can live in peace for so many years. If an ordinary navy dared to be so bold, they would have been eradicated by the world government long ago. Ha 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 ha, ignore those idiots, Sengoku, take out the tea, I just bought senbei. Garp turned a blind eye to Sengoku's roar, but instead took out a bag of senbei after finishing the donuts. Well. Warring States shook his head and sighed deeply. He was too tired and had no energy to argue with Garp today. At this moment, a burst of rapid footsteps sounded outside the door, and then a rear admiral broke into the office. Your Excellency, Marshal, something big has happened. What's up? Could it be that Lucifer is causing trouble again? Zhang Guo's face changed. Every time someone reported something big, it would often involve Lucifer. He didn't want to hear these words at all now. As soon as he heard these words, he had a splitting headache. No, this time it has nothing to do with Lucifer, it was an accident in the scientific force. Caesar of the Naval Science Force caused an experimental accident in Punk Acid. Now, the 2 research institutes on the island have been blown up, and the Navy stationed there suffered heavy casualties. And due to the spread of poisonous gas, the entire Punk Acid has now become an island of poisonous gas, and casualties continue to increase. In normal times, warring states might have been anxious when he heard such big news. After all, Punk Acid is one of the most important experimental bases of the Navy, and the accident would also be a huge loss. But now, not only is he not anxious, but he breathed a sigh of relief. As long as Lucifer didn't cause trouble. Compared with Lucifer's invasion of the Holy Land, what was a mere experimental accident? Send people to arrest Caesar and rescue the wounded on the island to see if the poisonous gas on the island can be eliminated. If that doesn't work, lock down the entire Punk Acid. The warring states period issued instructions in a leisurely manner. Yes, Your Majesty Marshal. The rear admiral saluted respectfully, and then exited the office. Sengoku sat back on the recliner, took a sip from the teacup, and breathed a sigh of relief. Now, as long as he doesn't hear the news about Lucifer's troubles, it's good news for him. New World, aboard the Netherworld. Lucifer lay on the bow of the boat, enjoying the sunbath and sea breeze. On the deck behind him, Enel and Cavendish were playing cards. With the addition of Jack, they finally had 4 people. But it's not so easy for them to play cards. Lucifer imposed a gravity field on them. When 4 people are playing cards, they are being tempered by gravity all the time. Even if you move your fingers, it takes a lot of physical and mental energy. The New World is full of hidden dragons and crouching tigers, and there are many strong people. If they want to gain a foothold here, they must practice harder. Boom. 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 Suddenly, an explosion sounded from a distance. Lucifer clicked his finger and cancelled the gravity field. The 4 people quickly stood up from the deck and looked towards the sea southeast of the Netherworld. I saw 3 warships approaching the Netherworld quickly. While approaching, they kept firing. Hey hey hey, is there a navy that dares to come to your door? Cavendish is a little funny. You know, now that the Nether pirates have completely made a name for themselves, when the navy encounters the Nether pirates on the sea, they immediately turn around and flee. Cavendish has already taken the initiative to surrender to the trap. Long time no see. Their target is not us, but the guy in the sky. Enilu looked at the sky in front of the warship, and there was a breath of air escaping quickly. The Navy's artillery shells were aimed at that person. When Lucifer and others discovered the warship, the naval observers on the warship also discovered the Netherworld. Lieutenant General Flying Squirrel, traces of the Nether pirates were found in the sea ahead. On the warship, a naval colonel came behind Vice Admiral Flying Squirrel and reported respectfully. Nether pirates, Lucifer. Lieutenant General Flying Squirrel's hand holding the knife tightened suddenly. He looked at the fleeing figures in the sky, a trace of unwillingness flashed in his eyes. At the same time, he looked at the Netherworld in the distance, and deep hatred appeared in the depths of his pupils. But soon, all kinds of emotions were forcibly suppressed by him. "Send the order, the whole army retreats." "Yes, Lieutenant General." The order was issued, and the three warships immediately turned around and fled into the distance. There was no way, who told them that the person they met was Lucifer? The Navy headquarters had already issued an order to give up if they encountered the netherworld pirates on the sea. In all tasks, saving life comes first. Even if he is unwilling to do so, Lieutenant General Flying Squirrel has no choice. He is not afraid of death, but there are thousands of naval soldiers behind him. He cannot drag thousands of naval soldiers to die with him. "Oh, escaped, escaped." On the netherworld, Cavendish looked at the three fleeing warships and shouted. "I thought they had some backbone, but I didn't expect them to be a bunch of cowards." When you meet Captain Lucifer, isn't it normal practice for the Navy to escape? What's all the fuss about? What I'm more curious about is, who is the man being chased by three warships? Anilu looked at the cloud of gas in the sky. Although it didn't have a human form, S.E. Bakey told him that it was a person. "Can't we find out if we catch him and ask him?" Lucifer smiled faintly, raised his hand to aim at the escaping gas in the sky, and grabbed it hard. All things are attracted by the sky. A burst of gravity broke out, and the gas in the sky was torn apart instantly. Lucifer then captured him back to the netherworld. With a bang, the gas hit the deck, and a human figure appeared. "Who? How dare you arrest me? Don't want to die." "I." The visitor had a very bad temper, and immediately cursed after regaining his physical form, but he quickly froze, with cold sweat breaking out on his face, and froze in place. "Say it, why don't you continue?" Anilu's eyes were evil, and electric light appeared on his body. Cavendish had sharpened his knife, Baby Five's hands had turned into huge cannon barrels, and his fists covered the armed and domineering Jack. But these were not the most deadly. The most terrible thing was that Lucifer was standing in front of everyone, staring at him with amusement. I asked who it was. It turned out to be Caesar. No wonder he had such a bad temper. The man being chased by the Navy was actually Caesar Courant, the mad scientist who created the artificial devil fruit in the original work. Lucifer didn't expect that he would meet him here. I remember that in the original work, Caesar defected in 1516. Yes, I think it's now. Then Caesar will meet Doflamingo, and then be recruited by him to create artificial devil fruits for him, thus establishing a cooperative relationship with Kaido. But now, Caesar has been intercepted by Lucifer. I can only say that this is God's will. Even God is helping Lucifer and arranges fate to send Caesar to Lucifer. Road, Lucifer, why are you here?" When Caesar saw Lucifer, it was like seeing a savage beast. He was shocked and took a few steps back. At the same time, his body turned into gas form, flew into the sky and fled. Lucifer's evil reputation is not only aimed at the Navy, but also at sea. Thief. More pirates died at the hands of Lucifer than the Navy. Caesar didn't want to die, so he had no choice but to escape. Hey, now that you're here, wouldn't it be too disrespectful to leave without saying hello? Anilu was the fastest. With a flash of lightning, he teleported to the sky above Caesar's head. The dark golden rod hit Caesar's head, knocking Caesar down into the sky. Cavendish and Jack also took action at the same time, attacking from the left and right, causing Caesar to be injured again. Caesar hit the deck of the netherworld hard, and a mouthful of blood spurted out. Immediately, the sword flashed, and Baby Five's arm turned into a scimitar, which was already on Caesar's neck. He escaped from the tiger's mouth, but he falling into a pack of wolves. Caesar is really on the verge of crying. Don't leave in a hurry, sit down and chat. Lucifer sat in front of Caesar and said with a smile. Chat, what to talk about? Caesar swallowed his saliva and said with a dry smile. Judging from your appearance, you should have defected to the navy now. Do you want to come to my ship? Not to mention Caesar's identity as a scientist, he is also a natural gas fruit ability user. There are still very few natural gas ability users, and the gas fruit is very destructive and toxic. For this reason alone, it is worth recruiting Lucifer. Great Voyage, Invincibility begins from the word spirit fruit. Author, Drunk in March at West Lake. Chapter 87. Turn to you. Caesar rolled his eyes and suddenly felt that this was not bad. Although Lucifer is a newcomer, his strength is terrifying, stronger than the admiral, enough to protect him. And now that Lucifer has rushed into the new world, he will soon build his own huge force. When the time comes, he who relies on this force will naturally be able to get support and continue his research. Caesar's dream is very simple, that is, he wants to surpass Vegapunk and become the world's #1 scientist. With Lucifer's protection, there is a good chance that this dream can be realized. And Caesar glanced at the scimitar on his neck and the few people around him who were watching eagerly, and swallowed again. Although Lucifer invited him, he didn't give him the right to refuse. If he dares to say no, he will be dead in the next second. Okay, I agreed. I want to be your subordinate. Caesar nodded repeatedly. Sure enough, talking to smart people is a pleasure. Lucifer waved his hand, and Baby 5 immediately removed the scimitar. Caesar breathed a sigh of relief, and the murderous intention that made his scalp numb finally receded. Let's all get to know each other. This is the naval scientist, Caesar Courant. Lucifer pointed at Caesar and introduced his identity. Don't look at him like this, he is a natural gas fruit ability user, and he is very powerful. Sure enough, he is also a natural type. When he took action just now, Enelu had already seen Caesar's ability. Hey, goat, do you want to have a fight to see which one is stronger, lightning or gas? Thunder and lightning appeared on Enelu's body, crackling with fighting spirit. No. No need, I give up. Besides, I am a scientist, not a combatant. Caesar's head is still hurting after being hit by Enel just now. How dare you fight him? Although Caesar is a natural ability user, his main focus is on scientific experiments. He usually doesn't pay attention to training his own strength. Once if the fruit ability is restrained, or against a user of armed color haki, he will be weak immediately. Caesar is the type who relies too much on natural abilities. Speaking of armed color and knowledge color haki, Caesar's level is not very high, barely. He is barely comparable to the Vice Admiral of the Navy headquarters. But when meeting the elite Vice Admiral of the Navy headquarters who is proficient in armed color haki, Caesar will lose more than he wins. After entering the new world, the power of haki is the key. Of course, Caesar meets Lucifer from now on, it will soon become different. With Lucifer's devilish training, Caesar's strength will soon be completely different. In this way, Lucifer once again gained a natural crew member. The netherworld continued to move forward, heading towards Dres Rosa sets off. A week later, the netherworld entered the waters of Dres Rosa. Dres Rosa is a tropical island with a resort style, known as the land of love, passion, and toys. There are a large number of mushroom-shaped rocks on the nearby coast. The island is filled with the fragrance of flowers and is world-famous for its delicacies. Since Doflamingo ruled the country, Dres Rosa's fame in the New World has become even greater. Countless people travel here every year. However, the beauty of Dres Rosa is only on the surface. Hidden under the beautiful passion is endless darkness. 6 years ago, Doflamingo took over this country with his pirates. From that day on, darkness began, and Dres Rosa gradually turned into a land of toys. In fact, those toys were all transformed by humans. Amidst the laughter that fills Dres Rosa every day, I don't know how many silent cries and despair are hidden. It's really a bad taste, and he is worthy of being a celestial dragon. Lucifer boarded Dressrosa, looked at the toys all over the street, and shook his head slightly. This was exactly the same as what he saw in the Holy Land Marijoa, and the scene in Dressrosa was simply a replica of Marijoa. Likewise. Beautiful on the surface, dirty and evil deep down. Suddenly, Lucifer frowned and his eyes instantly locked in the direction of the palace in the distance. Just now he felt a sense of spying, which was not the feeling of being probed by the domineering power of Jian Wen's. Is it Violet? Lucifer quickly thought of this woman. Violet was originally the princess of Dressrosa and a superhuman stare fruit user. She can see images from very far away places and can also see through people's hearts. Simple, it's like an enhanced version of clairvoyance. Thinking about the sense of spying just now, it was her secretly spying on you. Captain, do you feel it too? Anilu looked at Lucifer. Among the people, only Anilu's domineering power of knowledge and color can rival Lucifer's. He also felt the spying just now. It doesn't matter, it's just a small role, it doesn't matter. What matters is Doflamingo, as long as he doesn't run away. So what if he's discovered? Lucifer had no intention of hiding his traces. He just knocked on the door openly. He's so arrogant. Let's go directly to the palace. Doflamingo should be anxious. The moment he landed on the island, Lucifer's domineering aura had already covered the entire island. Deep in the palace, Lucifer sensed a very powerful aura, which was only slightly weaker than the admiral. Only one with such strength can Doflamingo arrived. In this way, Lucifer and others headed towards the high ground of Dressrosa Palace. At the same time, Doflamingo, who was in the palace, also received the message that Lucifer had landed in Dressrosa. News from SA. Damn bastard, did you really find him? In the palace, Doflamingo was so angry that his expression was distorted, the veins on his forehead popped out, and you could see the blood surging. He squeezed hard and crushed the phone bug in his hand into a pulp. Phone bug, the life of a snail is indeed very dangerous. What now, Dover? With our strength alone, we are no match for Lucifer. Next to him, Torrible had a runny nose and looked a little panicked. The rest of the Don Quixote family members gathered in the palace, waiting for Doflamingo's order. Is it a fight? Or a retreat? Pass my order and all personnel evacuate from the underground port. Doflamingo finally gave the order to retreat. He was unwilling, angry, but also helpless. Doflamingo was a hero and acted decisively. He knew that he was no match for Lucifer. He would fight forcefully. You can only die in vain. It is better to retreat as soon as possible and save your vitality. Although Dressrosa has been abandoned for many years, it is not over as long as people are still there. As long as you escape, you will be able to rebuild yourself soon. The forces of Don Quixote made a comeback. The underground port passage was connected to the palace, so the retreat route for Doflamingo and his party was very clear. After the order was issued, the entire Don Quixote family immediately fled towards the underground port. Alas, are you about to run away? Too spineless, right? Lucifer, who was advancing, suddenly showed a playful smile. His domineering aura of knowledge had always enveloped the palace, and he could naturally detect their escape. Come on, it's time for them to see the power of God. Anilu twisted his neck, and electric light flashed on the surface of his body. No, let the maid take action. Lucifer stopped Anilu and looked at Baby 5, Baby 5, you can do it, use the new power I gave you. Leave it to me, Captain Lucifer. Baby 5 spit out the cigarette she was holding in her mouth, jumped up, and jumped to the roof of a tall building nearby. She bent down, and her upper body softened into a huge cannon barrel, aiming at the palace in the distance. There were many complex lines on the surface of the cannon barrel. The muzzle rotates, energy accumulates rapidly, and the muzzle emits a dazzling blue light. Pluto cannon. Boom. Finally, after the energy was accumulated, a blue energy beam shot out from the muzzle, instantly leaping thousands of meters and hitting the palace in the distance. Boom. There was a big explosion in the Highland Palace, and it instantly turned into a huge fireball. Flames shot up into the sky, directly forming a huge mushroom cloud. The Highland Palace was shattered by a cannon, and the ground collapsed and sunken. Wherever the energy beam hit, rocks were melted into magma, and even steel was melted into molten iron. The shock wave generated by the explosion swept across, and the storm spread across half of Dressrosa. When the people on the island saw the explosion in the palace, they all fell into panic, screaming and shouting in fear, and fled in all directions. Great Voyage, Invincibility begins from the word spirit fruit. Author, Drunk in March at West Lake. Chapter 88. Alas, the power is really good. Lucifer looked at the huge fireball in the distance and exclaimed in admiration. His hard work in snatching the Pluto design from Frankie was not in vain. After combining the Baby 5 weapon fruit with the Pluto design, the power is really incomparable. The power of the energy beam just now was not even comparable to Lucifer's flash bomb. Although it is a bit exaggerated to destroy an island with one shot, it is indeed easy to destroy a palace with one shot. In the future, as Baby 5's personal strength becomes stronger, sooner or later you can destroy an island with one shot. The maid's version of Pluto's weapon is truly worthy of its reputation. Lucifer patted Baby 5 on the shoulder. She had changed from the barrel form back to the human form. Well done, Lord Lucifer. This is all thanks to Lord Lucifer's help. It is my honor to serve Lord Lucifer. After receiving Lucifer's appreciation, Baby 5 blushed and deeply felt the happiness of being needed. Behind Lucifer, there were Enello, Cavendish, Jack and Caesar. After seeing the palace that was razed to the ground in front of them, also looked dull. Jack and Caesar were okay. After all, they were not familiar with Baby 5 and didn't know her true combat power. But Enel and Cavendish were shocked. They got along with Baby 5. It's been a few months, and I can say that I'm very familiar with it. Baby 5 has always been the weakest among the Nether pirates. But seeing this blow just now, Baby 5's weakest status is about to be overturned. Baby 5's true strength has obviously surpassed them. Imagination. Hey, maid, when did you become so strong? You are quite capable, Baby 5, you are so well hidden. When did you learn this trick? There are no signs at all. But as a member of the Netherworld Pirates, it is only natural to do such a thing. Ha 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 ha. Seeing Enel and Cavendish in a lively atmosphere, the newly joined Caesar was so frightened that he broke into a cold sweat. I thought that there were only two monsters in the Nether Pirates, Lucifer and Enel, but I didn't expect that even the least, the humble maid was actually so strong. At this moment, Caesar was very happy to have joined the Netherworld Pirates. Having a group of monsters as companions made him feel extremely at ease. Everyone's eyes were fixed on the palace that was in flames in the distance. Cavendish murmured to himself, Doflamingo's group won't be killed by one cannon, right? If that's the case, then we'll save ourselves the trouble. No, Doflamingo is not such a weak guy. Jack said firmly. As a former rear admiral, he knows the villains of the Shichibukai very well. If Doflamingo was killed so easily, he would not be recruited by the world's government. Coming. Lucifer's pupils shrank. He saw countless cold lights suddenly shining in the sea of fire. The cold lights crisscrossed, like sharp slashes, instantly slicing the sea of fire. Then several figures jumped out from the sea of fire. It was Tang. The Cotters of the Quixote family. The leader is Doflamingo in a pink coat, followed by Diamante, Pica, and several other Cotters, a total of 6 people. Of course, there are more than 100 Cotters of the Quixote family. There were 6 of them, and the others didn't come out, so they naturally died in the hands of baby 5. Bastard, you are really bullying. Doflamingo fell from the sky and saw Lucifer and his group on the rooftop in the distance. His expression was distorted and his whole body was shaking with anger. The underground port had been completely destroyed by the cannon just now, and their way back had been cut off. You go deal with the others, leave Doflamingo to me. Lucifer gave the order, and the moment the voice sounded, he had already disappeared on the roof. Phew! The black shadow flashed away, and Lucifer appeared in front of Doflamingo in the sky as if teleporting. Hey, this is the first time we meet, Doflamingo. How was the meeting ceremony just now? My maid did it? The power is pretty good, right? Sigh, you look a little ugly. Is it constipation? Killing to kill the heart, this is naked killing to kill the heart. Baby 5 was originally Doflamingo's subordinate, and was later snatched away by Lucifer. Now Lucifer used the snatched baby 5 to deal with him, and killed several of him officer. Doflamingo was so angry that he almost burst into tears and almost spit out a mouthful of old blood. Has that woman actually become so strong? Doflamingo glanced at baby 5 in the distance, a little unbelievable. Baby 5 used to be at the bottom of the Don Quixote family in terms of combat power. But Lucifer would not lie to him, and at this point, Lucifer did not lie either. His necessity. If he had known that baby 5 had such potential, he would have paid more attention to anything he said. Unfortunately, it is too late now. It's just a maid. If you want it, I'll give it to you. I won't care. She's going to die soon anyway. Doflamingo will not show his unwillingness and anger. He is used to hiding his true emotions with hideous laughter. Even if he is unwilling, he cannot show it in front of Lucifer. Lucifer, let me meet you and see if you are as strong as others say. 5 colored thread. Doflamingo grabbed it with 5 fingers and shot out 5 colorful thin threads towards Lucifer. Disappear. Lucifer didn't dodge, he just said softly, and the 5 colored lines he shot disappeared instantly. Gravity crushes. Lucifer pressed lightly with his fingers, and Doflamingo was instantly attacked by gravity. He fell rapidly into the sky, smashing a huge hole in the earth. Lucifer fell from the sky, pointed his palm at the hole and grabbed it, everything. Tianyin. Doflamingo, who was vomiting blood, was immediately captured by Lucifer. Shinra Tianzhang. A repulsive force mixed with the domineering force of external weapons hit Doflamingo, knocking him away on the spot. Doflamingo turned into a cannonball, knocking down more than a dozen buildings along the way, and finally fell to the ground. It slid for hundreds of meters before stopping. With this blow, Doflamingo was knocked thousands of meters away by Lucifer. The battle had just begun, and it was already one-sided. Doflamingo emerged from the ruins. He got up, vomiting blood, and his chest was sunken. He was obviously seriously injured. Hey, Doflamingo, this is not all you can do, right? If you only have this ability, you will be dead with the next move. Lucifer teleported to the sky above Doflamingo's head, looking down at him from a high position. Those cold and ruthless eyes made Doflamingo feel cold all over. Stop! Suddenly, an extremely harsh scream came from behind. Immediately afterwards, the ground shook violently, and the entire Dressrosa was shaking. The ground suddenly bulged, and a huge stone giant slowly took shape. One of his the hand is as big as a small town. It is Pika. He is a person with the stone fruit ability and can control all the stones he comes into contact with. The stone palace under Doflamingo's feet was specially built for Pika. Battlefield. Go to hell, Lucifer. Pika's huge palm fell from the sky, covering the sky and the sun, and struck Lucifer. Boom! Suddenly, a thick lightning fell from the sky, instantly piercing Pika's huge palm and blowing it off. Ainalu appearing in front of the stone giant, Sissy, your opponent is me, don't get me wrong. Boom. A thunder dragon roared out and hit the stone giant's head, blowing his head to pieces on the spot. With Enel blocking him, Pika couldn't protect himself, and it was impossible to support Doflamingo. It seems that you still have a few loyal subordinates. Lucifer looked at Doflamingo and smiled coldly. Bah, 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 of course, they are all my family. Doflamingo wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and the ground under his feet instantly turned into a thin white line. The devil fruit awakened and was finally used. When the Superman devil fruit awakens, it will affect the things around him. Now, all the surrounding buildings and land turned into white lines, controlled by Doflamingo. The battle has just begun. It's too early to say who will lose and who will win. Wild waves and white lines. Doflamingo waved his hand, and tens of thousands of white threads under his feet suddenly rose into the sky, forming a wave-like raging attack and attacking Lucifer. Disappear. Lucifer still refused to dodge. He raised his hand and pointed, and the white line tsunami that hit him disappeared immediately. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Great Voyage, Invincibility begins from the word spirit fruit. Author, drunk in March at West Lake. Chapter 89. What? How can it be? Doflamingo's eyes widened. Although he learned from the Navy headquarters that Lucifer is a user with the ability to speak the spirit fruit, he can affect the enemy's fruit ability, or even eliminate the fruit ability. But he did not expect that he would use the awakening after having the ability. Lucifer can still eliminate his ability so easily. This means that the strength gap between him and Lucifer is very large, so the word spirit fruit can exert such a powerful effect. In front of Lucifer, his ability all failed, so what's the point of fighting? Gravity crushes. At the moment when Doflamingo was distracted, Lucifer had already launched an offensive. Another strong force of gravity pressed on Doflamingo, forcing him to lie on the ground. As Lucifer pressed down with his fingers, the earth moved every inch. The cracks spread in all directions. Doflamingo's head was pressed into the mud, and he felt that his brain, blood, bones, and every inch of flesh and blood in his body were suppressed by gravity. A feeling of extreme humiliation, gripping hard Doflamingo's heart is tight. You know, he is a celestial dragon. Although he is a fallen celestial dragon, Doflamingo is still extremely proud. He is a descendant of God, the most noble race in the world, and he has never suffered such humiliation. Endless rage burned in Doflamingo's heart, but no matter how loudly he roared, he could not break away from the gravity pressing on his back. At this moment, not only was he physically trampled by Lucifer, but his self-esteem and pride were also. He was beaten to pieces by Lucifer. Boom. Finally, with a loud noise, the earth collapsed, revealing a bottomless abyss. Doflamingo fell powerlessly into the abyss, blood spurting from his body, and he had no idea how many bones were broken. Lucifer. Damn you bastard, I won't die so easily. Go to hell, 16 rounds of sacred bullets and divine killing. Doflamingo used his last bit of strength to control the surrounding white threads to rise into the sky, turning into 16 thick and sharp white threads. The white threads were wrapped with high-density armed colors, which could easily pierce a small building. Island. Mahamudra of the Sage. Lucifer had no expression on his face. He raised his hand slightly, and a huge steel palm with a diameter of more than 100 meters suddenly condensed in the sky above his head. The palm was also covered with high-density armed domineering energy. Boom. With the palm falling, Doflamingo Brothers' 16 sacred bullets were instantly shattered. Lucifer's armed color haki has reached its peak, much stronger than Doflamingo. His armed color haki cannot stop the powerful power of the sage's big hand seal. The palms pressed down layer by layer, and the endless white lines were crushed layer by layer. Boom. A shocking loud noise shook the sky, the entire Dressrosa Island shook violently, and a powerful shock wave erupted to sweep away in all directions. Lucifer's feet. The town has been shattered, and a huge palm print appears in front of the world. Lucifer waved his hand, and the steel palm shattered and dissipated. At the same time, the surrounding white lines turned back into stone, and the system's notification sounded in Lucifer's mind. Ding! The host killed the pirate Don Quixote Doflamingo and obtained 120,000 killing points. Doflamingo is worthy of being a strong man at the level of Quasi-Admiral, with a net worth of 120,000, which is Lucifer's highest single kill gain so far. The last one was the elite Vice Admiral Doberman of the Navy headquarters, worth 85,000 kill points, and Doflamingo was far behind. Lucifer looked under the palm print, and Doflamingo's body could no longer be found there. Under the offensive of the Sage's Big Hand Seal, Doflamingo had been destroyed. No bones left. Celestial dragons. Isn't this the first time I've killed a celestial dragon? Lucifer showed a sneer, pointed his palm downwards and grabbed hard, rebirth. After the words fell, Lucifer immediately grasped an invisible force in the palm of his hand. Soon, a white devil fruit was reborn in Lucifer's hand. The Superman line fruit. This devil fruit is in the Superman line. In fact, it is not top-notch, but Doflamingo developed it to perfection, and even reached the state of awakening. It can only be said that it was Doflamingo who achieved the thread fruit, not the thread fruit. Doflamingo. Even if Lucifer finds someone else, he will not be able to develop the thread fruit to the level of Doflamingo. Dover. Little Lord. Seeing the tragic death of Doflamingo, Torrible, Pika, and other officials were all shocked and screamed and roared. Damn it, damn Lucifer, how dare you put the young master? I kill you. Pika's sissy scream resounded through the sky, and she manipulated the huge stone man to approach Lucifer. Before the fist the size of a town fell, a violent wind was already set off. Before the punch arrives, the wind arrives first, which is interesting. Just kidding, Lucifer showed no mercy. He aimed his palm at the giant stone man and struck out with his palm. Shinra Tianzhang. The high-density armed domineering energy combined with powerful repulsion formed an invisible palm force. The palm force shot out of the air, distorting the space along the way, and instantly hit the huge stone man in the distance. Boom! With one palm hit, the stone giant was directly shattered. Turned into rubble scattered all over the sky. Pika's sharp scream sounded, his body was hit by armed color haki, and the armor all over his body was completely shattered. Ken, hateful. Because the stone giant resisted most of the damage, Pika was not beaten to death with one palm. He still had the last vestige of life left. He wanted to open his eyes and continue to attack Lucifer. But unfortunately, he was seriously injured and dying. All the bones in his body were beaten to pieces, and he was no longer able to fight anymore. Flash ray. The devil's whisper sounded again, and a laser beam instantly penetrated Pika's head and shot to the sea outside the island. Ding! The host killed the pirate Pika and obtained 45,000 killing points. The system prompt sounded, and Lucifer once again gained a wave of killing points. The value of Pika is higher than Diamanti. Lucifer killed Diamanti and only got 30,000 killing points. Attribute panel. Host, Lucifer. Age, 23. Devil fruit, word spirit fruit. Physique, hell demon. Armed color haki, peak. Wisdom color haki, peak. Overlord color haki, peak. Killing points, 415,000. Kill 2 capable targets in a row. Lucifer's total number of killing points already more than 400,000, reaching 415,000. The number of killing points exceeds 410,000, which is already very close to 1 million. Lucifer glanced at the attribute panel and nodded secretly. There are many powerful pirate groups in the New World, and it won't be long before Lucifer can collect 1,000,000 killing points. By then, Lucifer will be able to purchase the Overlord-colored Haki domain. He really wanted to know how powerful the realm of domineering beyond the Peak realm was. Pika! Lord Pika! At this moment, several shrill screams came from the distance, coming from the remaining cotters of Don Quixote. Seeing that Pika also died tragically in the hands of Lucifer, the remaining Torbil and Cini or Gladius and Sugar were all desperate. Run! Torbil was the first to escape, and turned into a big ball of snot and shot away in the distance. As a result, Granu lost his protection. Baby 5 seized the opportunity and blasted Granu to death with one shot. Granu was a superhuman childlike fruit power user with little fighting power. There are only a few toy soldiers around her who have some strength. Because of her powerful fruit power, Doflamingo sent Torbil to protect her personally. Baby 5 previously fired the Pluto cannon. It was under the protection of Torbil that Sugar survived. Now that Torbil has escaped, just a few toy soldiers cannot save her. The moment Sugar died, the ability of the childlike fruit disappeared. The darkness of Dressrosa was revealed. Countless toys in the country have all returned to human form, and all their lost memories have returned. Most of these people are citizens of the country, but there are also many pirates, bounty hunters, and even marine soldiers and CP agents. At this moment, the entire country was filled with extreme hatred for Doflamingo, and countless citizens of Dressrosa roared to seek revenge on Doflamingo. However, Doflamingo brother is dead. Even if they want to find someone to take revenge, they can't find the rightful owner. As for the Navy soldiers and CP agents, they report the situation of Dressrosa to the Navy headquarters and the world government. This time Germany Dressrosa didn't have a birdcage to block the signal, so it was easy to send the message back. Great Voyage, Invincibility begins from the word spirit fruit. Author, Drunk in March at West Lake. Chapter 90. On the battlefield, Jack stared at the fleeing Torbil, and teleported behind him in a flash. It's better not to leave, stay. As soon as he finished speaking, dozens of vacuum slashes penetrated Torbil's body. Although more than a dozen sharp blades passed through Torbil and did not hurt him, the sharp blades still hit Torbil. Hidden body. Torbil screamed, and the disgusting mucus on his body exploded, revealing a skinny and shriveled body. This is the true face of Torbil. He is not a natural ability user, he is just wrapped in mucus all the time. The body was just disguised as a natural type. Jack took advantage of the victory to pursue, and used the 6-style shave and the moon step together. The figure flashed away, leaving a vacuum slash. It was the ability to cut fruits, as if it could even cut through space. Rebel's head soared into the sky, and blood spurted from his broken neck, flying half a foot high. On the other side, the battle between Cavendish and Gladius also had a winner. Cavendish released the second the personality Hakuba used a swordsmanship like a gust of wind to leave hundreds of sword wounds on Gladius. Hundreds of sword wounds were formed in an instant. After Hakuba stopped attacking, Gladius only then fell in a pool of blood. As Cavendish became stronger, Hakuba's swordsmanship and cruelty also greatly improved. In addition, Senior, Doflamingo and others died in the hands of Caesar. All the cotters he brought out were killed, and no one survived. Lucifer flapped his devil wings and floated in the sky, using the power of the word spirit fruit to recover all the devil fruits of these people. Childlike fruit, stone fruit, and sticky fruit, explosive fruit, and water fruit. In addition to Doflamingo's thread fruit, Lucifer harvested a total of 6 devil fruits. In fact, several of the officials who died at the bottom of the palace were also fruit ability users, but they were too far apart. Far away and dead for too long, Lucifer can no longer recover them. But recovering 6 devil fruits is already a great harvest. Phew! Lucifer flapped his devil wings and fell from the sky, landing on the roof of a tall building. Enel, Cavendish and others also quickly gathered behind Lucifer. Is this the end? Too simple. Ennilu still has some unfinished ideas. It's really easy, it's hard to believe. Jack also felt that it was a bit too simple. Doflamingo is the leader in the Shishibukai. The Navy has been chasing him for several years without success, which shows how strong he is. Now he is so easily killed by the Netherworld pirates. The group was destroyed. It can only be said that it was not that Doflamingo was too weak, but that Lucifer was too strong. Doflamingo, the strongest, was crushed in the face of Lucifer, and was beaten to pieces in just a few moves. No survival. Without Doflamingo, the rest of the cotters will naturally collapse. At this point, another king of the Shishibukai has fallen, and the Don Quixote family has been declared dead. At the same time, the Navy headquarters and the world government also received many news of Flamenco's defeat. Bang! In the marshal's office, Sengoku slapped his desk into pieces. Is it that bastard Lucifer again? I should have thought of it earlier. Previously, Lieutenant General Flying Squirrel sent back news that the Nether pirates appeared in the waters near Punkhatha Island and kidnapped the renegade scientist Caesar. Punkhatha Island is very close to Dressrosa, and Lucifer likes to hunt powerful people. As is the habit of pirates, the next target is obviously Doflamingo. Now that Doflamingo has been defeated, it is too late for them to receive the news. Tisk, what's there to be nervous about? It's a good thing that Doflamingo was defeated. Killing him 10 times for what he did to Dressrosa is not enough. You should be happy that there is one less scum on the sea, warring states period. On the sofa nearby, Lieutenant General Garp laughed. Not only did the Navy soldiers in Dressrosa return the news that Doflamingo had been defeated, they also reported the darkness in Dressrosa to the Navy headquarters. Now the Navy headquarters knows what Doflamingo has done. Manipulating citizens, selling weapons, leading wars, killing the Navy, and controlling the country are all heinous crimes, enough to make Doflamingo lose the name of the Shishibukai. Of course I know that Doflamingo's death is not a pity, but he is the Shishibukai, and on the surface he is the power of the Navy. After this incident, the prestige of the Shishibukai will definitely be affected. One Moria is missing and has not yet been added, and now Doflamingo has also been defeated. The majesty of the Shishibukai has been trampled down by Lucifer and is worthless. What Sengoku is worried about is not Doflamingo, but the Shishibukai. After Doflamingo's incident is exposed, it will inevitably have a blow to the majesty of the king's Shishibukai. As a force that balances the sea, the role of the king's Shishibukai it is very large and very important to the Navy. If the Shishibukai loses its deterrence, the pirates on the sea will become more unscrupulous, and the Navy will suffer losses by then. It's too late to send someone over now, let's think about how to deal with this matter first, right? This kind of behavior of wiping the butt of pirates really made Sengoku feel uncomfortable. But he had to do it. I'm afraid it's too late to cover up the news, now we can only use the old method. Lieutenant General, he said calmly. That's all it can do. Sengoku let out a deep sigh. The so-called old method is to fabricate facts and replace the facts. Transfer the credit for defeating Doflamingo to the Navy, and announce to the world that it was the Navy that exposed Doflamingo's secrets. Crime. In order to show the justice of the Navy removed Doflamingo from the king's Shishibukai and sent troops to eradicate him. In this way, Doflamingo's incident will not have an impact on the Navy. The Navy also we can use this matter to save our face. And through some public opinion, we can minimize the impact of this incident. The methods of politicians are extremely dirty. The Navy headquarters and the world government have long been proficient in the use of such dirty methods. However, Lucifer once again did something big, which made Zenguo feel relaxed again. He hadn't been clean for a few days, but Lucifer made trouble again. If this continues, no matter how superb teacher Tony's craftsmanship is, It can't save his white hair. Holy Land of Draco, Marijoa. Marijoa has not yet completed its reconstruction after being invaded by Lucifer. Only the huge Pangu city in the center has been preserved, standing in ruins. In the Pangu city palace, the 5 old stars have also received the news that Doflamingo was killed by Lucifer. This kid's movements were really fast, another Shichibukai perished in his hands. The blonde 5 old star stood by the window, his tone was calm. This was originally the purpose of Sengoku letting him enter the new world. According to Lucifer's mad dog-like character, he will soon confront the 4 emperors, and then the navy will be able to reap the benefits. But there are advantages and disadvantages. Mad dogs bite people regardless of their status. Doflamingo is proof of that. If we are not careful, we will be the ones injured. The curly-haired 5 old star glanced at him, revealing a cold glow. It would be good for us if Doflamingo died, so that no one would know the secrets he held. The sword-wielding 5 old stars wiped the sword in their hands, not caring about Doflamingo's death. What about Lucifer? Is it possible that he knows Doflamingo's secret? The long-bearded 5 old star asked with his eyes wide open. Impossible, Lucifer has no reason to do this, and it is impossible for him to know that the secret exists. The 5 bald stars affirmed. That's fine, but Doflamingo is a celestial dragon after all, and we can't remain indifferent even if he dies. Coupled with Lucifer's previous crime of invading the Holy Land, this harmful element must be eradicated with all his strength. There is a lot of pressure from the Tianlong people. The sword-wielding 5 old stars retracted their swords, and a killing intent burst out in their eyes. Sengoku said that he was preparing a plan, could he just leave it to the navy? Warring States is stalling for time. Judging from his performance, he will not cause trouble to Lucifer in a short time. The blonde 5 old stars shook their heads, and the others also agreed. The 5 old stars are all old Yinbai who have dominated the world's government for many years. How can they not see the delaying tactics of the Warring States period? But Lucifer's strength is indeed terrifying, and the 5 old stars are really terrifying. The old stars also understood the Warring States period's approach of making decisions before taking action. But the Tianlong people had been putting pressure on them, so the 5 old stars had to take corresponding actions.